day 25 of my July vlogs. My name's Jules. I realise I have forgotten to say that in almost every video, so yeah, my name's Jules. Hi. So today is so hot. I took Mabel for a walk this morning a bit earlier and I came back and had a shower because I was just so sweaty and hot and horrible. So I've had a shower and I've basically put on what is basically a daytime nightie. The smallest amount of clothing I could possibly find. I couldn't use the hairdryer. What are you up to, boo? So this is just me, fresh from the shower. Okay, so I thought I'd pop in and chat about my dishcloth. I can't tell you how excited I am about this dishcloth. It sounds really silly, doesn't it? But I'm really excited. I feel I've cracked the design that I really wanted. I always used to use these rectangular, kind of puffy sponges, and they were kind of about this big. And I just liked the feel of them. I liked them because they were puffy and not too big. You didn't have to fold them up to dry, you know, to after you've used them. They were just perfect, but they're plastic. I think they're cellulose. And so I made a green dishcloth. I should really go get that. Hang on. Here is my green dishcloth, which is perfectly lovely, but I knit it on too loose a gauge, so it's really floppy and I feel it's not very substantial. So I feel like these have their place. If I knit this at a tighter gauge, I think it would be fine. But it wasn't really what I was after, to scratch that itch. And so I've been dreaming about a new design. I know it sounds so silly, I bet you're all laughing at me. But here is the beginnings of my new dishcloth. So it's double layered, has the easiest cast on in the world. So it's a lovely easy cast on. It's kind of, I've joined the layers together so it's more condensed, maybe is the right word. One side is just smooth knitting and the other side is textured. And I think I've basically cracked it. It's kind of about the size of my palm. I need to make it just a little bit bigger. And then I think it's going to be Kitchener to close it. But my plan is to make a rainbow stack of them because, let's face it, cleaning and doing dishes is not the loveliest thing that we all do in our lives, but it has to be done, doesn't it? So if it can look pretty, why not? Rose and lychee tea, well, cold brew tea again. Gosh, that's nice. With ice, of course. So, and also, I really wanted to be able to get these out of 25 grams. So you can either make 2 out of one 50-gram ball, or what's really got me excited is I've seen some really cute 25-gram balls of cotton yarn, and I thought I could get a rainbow, and that really makes my heart so happy. So my plan for the rest of the day is get the fan on, get comfy on the sofa, laying down because my back's still a little tricky. Much better than it was, but a bit tricky. Find something nice to watch on telly, finish this off, write up the pattern, and order a rainbow of yarn. That sounds like the best day ever. Oh, honestly, sometimes I feel like I'm so easily pleased, but I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful that I don't need massive things like diamonds and expensive handbags to make me happy. Just a knitted dishcloth really does it for me. I'm wearing my locket today and I love this. I always feel like magical things happen when I wear this. And inside is a photo of my dad and my big brother. And I always feel like spiritual things happen when I wear this, and I love it so much. So yeah, I love wearing it. I love wearing it and wearing them so close to me. I've been asked quite a few times in the comments while I've been vlogging about how I reduce plastic, especially in the kitchen. I am trying my very best to reduce plastic. I'm not there yet. You stop doing one thing and you realise there's a million other things that you could be doing better on. If you really, really want to get some great tips, go to see Gaynor, who is Tales from Cuckoo Land. She is amazing. But I'm going to show you a few things that I do to reduce plastic. And yeah, I do have a way to go, but I'm really trying hard. So first of all, if you go out, take a water bottle. Always, always, always take a water bottle, unless you're going like 5 minutes down the road. I watched a programme by Hugh Fearnley-Whittingstall and Anita Rani. Can't quite remember what it's called, but it was about reducing plastic. You could probably watch it on Catch Up or something, not really sure. But it was really eye-opening because we do our thing, don't we, of recycling plastic. And I don't know about you, but I feel really good when I recycle as much as I can possibly recycle. Well, when I was watching this programme, it was so shocking that huge amounts of our recycling goes out to Malaysia and I don't know, other places too. And we just mess up their beautiful countries, and that is just so wrong on so many levels. And they just have like massive, massive, massive mountains, like icebergs that aren't in the sea, of our plastic waste. And I found that so upsetting to think that we do our bit and our councils just ship it out to someone else, like out of sight, out of mind, and that's not okay. And so I think if you can not use the plastic in the first place, so you don't recycle it, that is the best thing we can do. So I try to not use single-use plastic to start with, because then you haven't got to worry where it's going, because it's not there, it's not going anywhere. So always take a water bottle, reusable water bottle. And I think it's so much easier these days to get them refilled. Most cafes have, or in the UK, I don't know about in anywhere else, but they have big kind of, not tanks, like big massive glass jars with a tap on of water that you can refill. And there are refill stations popping up now, which is fantastic. So always take your water bottle. And if you're taking snacks, take snacks in a little plastic pot, a reusable plastic pot. Like if I'm going out and I've got some energy balls in the fridge, or some kind of healthy bar, or something, or some cake I've made, or whatever, I put it in a little, I use Lock and Lock mostly, but any plastic box with a lid, a reusable pot, is perfect. So another thing I do when I'm storing food, kind of leftover food, in my fridge. So let's say, like last night, I cut a lemon in half. I used half in my salad dressing, and the other half I put in my fridge. Well, a few years ago, I used to put that in a plastic bag and put in the fridge. And now I realise that was so bad, because that plastic bag only gets used that one time, and then I threw it away, and that just goes in a pile somewhere, basically, what it seems like. So I put my half-cut fruit, lemons, limes, oranges, face down in a little pot, and they stay as fresh as fresh. So cut side down in the pot. I also do the same with avocados. Excuse, that was PT's phone. He's gone to watch a cricket match. It's down the road from us. It's a special one, apparently. Do you not find that all sports matches and games on the telly, they're always the most important? Can't miss it. It's the most important one of the season. this is one of those. Yeah, so I do the same with avocados. I think I've heard they do store better with the stone, but I'm not convinced actually. So I always take the stone out, put the cut side down on the plate, pop that in the fridge, and then use it the next day or whenever. Also, like last night, I cooked a bit extra so that today we can have leftovers. Actually, Pete said he's going to get a burger at the cricket match. George said he's really happy to have something out of the freezer. And there were some leftovers from last night. So I've got some leftover rice from last night, some leftover salad, and half a leftover pepper. So that's my tea sorted. So what I do, and I'm sure many of you do this, so I'm probably telling you all the things you already do, but you know. So put my rice, leftover rice in a bowl, and I just put a plate over the top. And done, no plastic, nothing to throw away. I did the same with my pepper, and my salad went into like a little reusable plastic lidded pot. Whew. Getting thirsty all this talking. Okay, so my guilty secret or my guilty pleasure are these little things. These go in my Nespresso coffee machine. I have seen pods, I think I saw them on Instagram, can't remember the name, but they're compostable, which is really good, but they're over double the price, and these are quite expensive. They're about 30 or 35 pence each, which makes a cheap cup of coffee compared to going out and having a cup of coffee. Oh, but if you're spending like I suppose 70p is not that much, but I suppose I could drink less coffee and buy the compostable ones. That's something I need to think about. But I also bought this, which is a reusable coffee pod, and I got this from Amazon. But at the moment, I'm not managing to make it work for me. First of all, I tried some coffee that I had in the fridge, freshly ground coffee, put it in, made a cup of coffee, and it was so weak because it wasn't ground fine enough. So then I bought a tin of Illy decaf coffee, which is delicious. It's too fine, so it blocks up the little holes. I don't know how easy it is to see those holes. So it blocked up the holes. And I've got a very bad feeling because of that, and because I kept trying to make it work, that is maybe how the coffee machine got broken. But I don't know. In fact, when my coffee machine broke, I considered just going back to I don't even know what they're called. I guess more of a barista style coffee machine where you put the coffee grinds in a little holder, pat it down, and then twist that in the machine and let the water run through. And I think that's what I'm going to do eventually, but I've got loads of pods in the cupboard and I don't want to get rid of my machine because I really like it. And yeah, that's one thing I need to work on. So maybe I'll use my pods up and then think about getting a replacement. But you see, that feels bad, doesn't it? Because when Pete was on the phone to Nespresso to work out how to get mine fixed, the guy on the other end of the phone was so desperate to sell us a new one. And Pete asked me, I said, I don't want a new one. It's wrong to throw something away that's still working. And working, well, it wasn't working, but can be fixed fairly easily. It just felt wrong to replace that. And anyway, I wouldn't replace it with another podded machine. So I'm on my soapbox, aren't I, today? What else? Washing up sponges. Hey, boo-boo. What have you got? She's got my coffee pod. I dropped it on the floor. That's not for you, don't pierce it. Drop it. Drop it. It's not for you, my darling. Where did it go? Where is it? There it is. Cheeky. I saved it. Just a little dent, no piercings. That was so lucky. She's very gentle when she steals things. What was I saying? Oh, the dishcloths. Yep, that's another thing. I started refilling. We've got a lovely shop. Leave it, Papa. Leave it, darling. You want to be on camera? Oh, what are you doing sitting down there? You're so good. Why are you sitting there? Because there's nothing for you, I'm afraid. You're beautiful. You're going to come here. Little come. And now she wants to play ball. It's way too hot for ball. Wait, no, you can leave my knitting. Oh, darling. No ball today. Yes, so what I was saying, we have a shop just 5 minutes away, probably less than that actually. And you can go there to refill your washing liquid or softener, toilet cleaner, and they do a lovely range of shampoo and conditioners which I've started using as well. Oh, I have another little tip. I just bought my washing powder. It's a very domestic day today. Yes, so you can get refills there. Sadly, we have nowhere near that I know of that is a zero waste shop where you can like go with your pots and buy, I don't know, chickpeas and rice, and we just don't have that kind of thing locally to me, unfortunately. Oh, I dream of opening one though. I saw a pub the other day up for sale, and I just have this little dream of opening a zero waste shop, but it would be like a department store. So you'd have like a zero waste cafe, and then you'd have a section for zero waste like cleaning and home products. Then there'd be another section with all the dry foods, and then I would do zero waste or nearly zero waste beauty products and craft products. Like I'd sell, this is in my dream by the way, I would sell things like coconut oil and all the things that I make, my hand balm bars and candles. I'd sell all those all loose, and I'd have old scales and I'd have paper bags. Oh, and it would be beautiful. Oh, I'm just imagining it being upstairs and a downstairs. Oh, I'd love it so much, but really I would be too scared to do that. Be a big undertaking. My dream is like Liberty of London, but for zero waste. That would be so nice. So nice. And I would also sell pretty zero waste, like it, nothing horrible. It'll be pretty zero waste. And I do workshops. Oh, it'll be heaven. It would be heaven. Anyway, I feel I've gone off on a massive tangent and I hope I haven't forgotten anything. So I just went to get, so for my laundry, I switched quite a long time ago, maybe a year or so ago, I switched to Eco powder, but any powder, because it comes in a cardboard box. And I always worried a bit about using powder, especially when I was washing darks, because I'm quite pernickety about my washing. I worried that it would leave white kind of powdery residue, but it doesn't at all. That might be my Amy tinkling. Tingling. Amy tinkling. Yeah, and I use my little measure in here so I don't overuse. That's the other thing. I try not to overuse my products. Like with softener, I'll try and remember, I don't always, try and remember to measure in the cup rather than pouring in the directly into the detergent tray, because I think you use less and the measurement they give is obviously the perfect measurement. what else do I do? We're switching to bar soap. We've had lots of moaning. I really like it. I wasn't sure if I would like it, but I do really like it, and you can get such beautiful, gorgeous soap. When Brian and I went to Bath, I think it was last December, because I'm sure I remember vlogging, and we went for the Christmas market, and there was this amazing market stall that had wooden boxes full of all the most beautiful soaps. I think they were French, which I guess that comes with its own issue, because then you have to think about air miles, but we could go on this rabbit hole of going down all these different tangents of what you should and shouldn't do, but they were lovely. So, and they didn't have any plastic, so that's what we're talking about at the moment. And what did I buy? I got a peach one, a honey one, oh, and a cinnamon and orange one. Gosh, they were lovely. So yeah, and soap is really nice, really nice. The only issue I have, and let me go and show you. The only issue I have with soap is not with soap itself, it's with peat. Okay, so this is my soap dish. How cute is that? I got this in Florida, actually in Disney World, in Epcot, in Japan, in Epcot. God, that's my favourite place in the whole world. Anyway, so soap lives in here, which is really cute. Pete comes in from the garden and he washes his hands. And he obviously doesn't ever wash his hands properly, I don't think. And so it leaves like muddy marks on my soap, and then you get this. How gross is that? And that's just 2 days, because I washed it out 2 days ago. So we've had a few little words. And he's going to try and rinse the soap before he puts it back in the soap dish. So that's my only bugbear. Oh, yes, I need to ask you something. Okay, do any of you watch Neve from Fairyland Cottage? I love that podcast. It's so beautifully filmed, really mellow and gentle, and it's all about reducing plastic and living a calm and eco-friendly life. Anyway, I was watching, what was I? I think it was reducing plastic waste in the bathroom. I've watched a lot of hers lately because I haven't long found her, so I've been kind of catching up. But in her shower, she had a natural sponge. Let me explain it. Okay, so it actually is a bit like this. So it's a natural sea sponge, but it was open inside. And so you could put a bar of soap in. And I really, really want to get one. Anyway, I messaged her. And she really sweetly messaged me back and said she got it from TK Maxx. I don't have a TK Maxx close to me. And I think TK Maxx is one of those shops that get all sorts of things. The stock changes really quickly, so even if I went in, I probably wouldn't get one. But I was wondering, does anybody know where I could get one of those? Because I'd really like one. At the moment, I am still using, oh, clicking my thingy. I'm still using one of those, I call it a dougal, but basically it's a plastic meshy ball that's all scrunched up. And I find it really good with putting soap or body wash because you need less product. And the more I think about it, the more I think that is probably one of the worst plastic things I use in this house, because I can't see that could be recycled. So if that goes to landfill, gets in the sea, it's like, basically it's like a net tube. And that just freaks me out so badly that fish or animals or could get stuck in it. So anyway, I'm going to use it till it dies, and then I'm going to shred it up into teeny tiny pieces. I don't know what I can do with it then. I guess put it in rubbish. I'm never buying them again. So I need a replacement. So if any of you have any ideas where I can get one of these natural sponge pockets to put a bar of soap in, or something similar that actually works, please let me know. So, oh, I have one more thing to show you. So, there are some brilliant green kind of eco plastic free online shops now. Oh, we're really spoilt actually. And I bought these. I gave one to Bryony and I kept one. I haven't used it yet because I wanted it to be pristine and not yucky from washing up. And it's made of coconut fibre. Plastic. It says eco-friendly, biodegradable, plastic-free, sustainable, naturally antibacterial, non-toxic and recyclable. It also says on the box, with every eco-coconut purchase you are actively contributing to providing clean drinking water to communities in need. So that's really good, isn't it? It says it's non-scratch and naturally antibacterial, but so this is a scourer made out of coconut fibre. So my horrible plastic scourers, once they've been used, I shall use them to their limit of using, they will be replaced by these hopefully if they're good. And it looks good, doesn't it? So yeah. So I think, oops, I have the most random collection of stuff next to me now. But I think if you guys are interested in this kind of thing, I may start a new section on my regular podcast. Just because my new plan is to podcast every 2 weeks. I'm going to try and schedule it so that I can do that, because I think once a month I get really rusty. And every 2 weeks I think is more doable. They'll be a bit shorter, but I think that's good too. So I think I'm going to have a little section at the end of my podcast where I talk about things that I've changed to be more environmentally kind to the planet. And I know what I do is not perfect, but Bryony showed me this quote because she came for tea yesterday. Now, I can't remember the numbers that were in this quote because that is my dyslexia hell, numbers. They just completely muddle up. So I can't remember the numbers, so I'm making up the numbers, okay. So basically the quote was something like, we don't need 1 million people doing recycling perfectly. We need 5 million people doing it imperfectly to make the difference. And that's really good to keep in your mind. You don't have to do everything, just one little change. If everybody did one little change, can you imagine the difference that would make? It's very inspiring, isn't it? I feel great when I make a change. And also the milkman. Yeah, we're sorted now. The milkman's staying. George is happy on semi-skimmed milk. I spoke about this in an earlier vlog. And yeah, I get my oats from him as well. And I know loads of you were laughing last time how I was saying that I'm really enjoying my milkman experience. And I am. And I get my oats from him as well. So yeah, it's really good. So yeah, all in all, milkman has been a good experience, a very, very nice experience actually. And I can't think of anything else to say. So I'm going to go put my fan on, lay on the sofa because it's blinking hot, and I probably won't do much else today. So that's why I decided to do my talky bit today, because there's not going to be much action here. Anyway, I probably won't chat again today. So I will see you tomorrow, my lovely friends. And thank you so much for watching and sticking with me.